Hi everyone, welcome to our sixth session on referencing. This session is broken down to two tutorials and let's start with the first one. Looking at the session objectives, we will first discuss about understanding what is expected as referencing at BCU and the very important area, what is plagiarism and how to avoid plagiarism in your work. Then we move on to how do we cite work of others and what are the different approaches and how BCU would like to have it. Then we'll discuss briefly about what is a list of reference and what is a bibliography. And then we'll discuss about how to create a list of references for different projects. First, let's start with reminding ourselves about the purpose of referencing. The purpose of referencing is to give credibility to your work and to show that you have engaged in wider reading and that you have read around the subject and brought in the existing body of knowledge to the work that you do. Certainly, referencing will help you to get a better mark, and in most cases, the examiner will first glance through the list of references before reading your document. It will give the examiner a sense of comfort and adds credibility to your work that you have done references, and it's not only your thoughts but it is your bringing together wider body of knowledge. And by referencing effectively, you will minimize or you prevent the chance of plagiarism. Now you might wonder what we mean by plagiarism. In very simple terms, it is a serious offense in academic writing. Plagiarism means submitting or passing other people's work as your own work. Now, plagiarism can happen for a couple of reasons. Sometimes, purposely, you plagiarize or you take somebody's work and pass it as your own work. But most often, what happens is plagiarism happens by accident where you forget or where you miss out to reference or cite other people's work. So it's very important that we keep a note of all the material that we use in our assignments as well as our final research or the literature review so that you will not miss out on the work that you use. This is not only about the paragraphs or text that you read. Plagiarism involves using charts, graphs, images, diagrams, words, anything that you have taken from another source but you forget or you purposely don't give credit to the author. So when you're in an MSc program, it's very important that you understand what is plagiarism and avoid at all cost. What if you plagiarize and get caught? I think it's very simple. The university will initiate disciplinary procedure. But I think more than that, what we need to look at is how do we prevent it? By referencing all the material that you use, you can prevent it. But what happens in real practice? Students run short of time, and towards the end, you're forced to bring or build your text, and you forget to reference because you're pressed for time. So that means you need to have adequate time to complete your research papers, literature reviews, or assignments. As I said earlier, start taking notes from the beginning on a separate sheet or a small notebook where you jot down all the pieces of work charts, graphs, images, words, anything that you use. And also, as you go through the MSc and do a couple of assignments, you'll get used to the habit of referencing. So, these are the 4 ways that you can prevent plagiarism happening. Now, let's start looking at referencing in detail. When you talk about referencing, there are 2 parts to it. First is using the references and citing in your report. That means you take work done by other people and bring it to your document either in summary form or in some detail. The second part of referencing is creating a list of references. Generally, the list of references come at the end of your report and it is arranged in alphabetical order, and there is a way of presenting how you have reference and the list of reference. On to your left hand side, you have 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph you will see work done by Brody, Smith, and Correa has been referenced, and their work has been taken in and rewritten by the author. But if you see the second paragraph, the author has taken exactly what was said by Fisher into the paragraphs. So these are 2 ways of citing your references in the report. Now let's look at citing in the report in further detail. Different universities prefer different styles, but here we have presented how BCU would like to see the references. So if you're looking at someone else's work and if you want to cite them in your report, rewrite the ideas in your own words. Make sure you include the details and examples from a range of sources, and while you write what others have done in your own ideas, make sure you show the source. And how BC would like to see it is generally author, comma, date. Date means the year and author is the surname. We can look at some examples how citations can be made. Okay, let's look at 3 examples now. Look at the first paragraph. A pilot study undertaken by Jans et al. Et al. Means Jans and others. That means there are too many people to include, so you call it Jans et al. Jans and others. See, after Jans and et al., full stop, and then the year within brackets. Demonstrate the results of RFID implementation within the trauma unit of the emergency department in a hospital based in Tennessee. This paper focuses on procurement function within the healthcare supply chain. So this paragraph has been written in the author's own language but taken the idea from Jans and others. In the second paragraph, we see the entire reference. Again, Brody in 2007, Smith and Correa 2005, Zeng et al. 2006 has been brought within the brackets and has written in their own words, summarizing what they have said. So similarly, if you look at the third paragraph, again you see references being done and the year within brackets. So when you keep reading some of the literature, and especially your 8 peer-reviewed articles, you will see different ways or different ways of citing which you will learn as you go along.